Hello there, are you affordable travelers? This is Mrs. C, and today we will be going over what I spent on my 3-day cruise in July of 2023. So let's get started. First, I would like to give you a bit of background on the cruise that I sailed on. I sailed July of 2023, and it was a 3-night cruise leaving from Long Beach Cruise Terminal. We left that Friday and returned on a Monday morning. Now, I booked an inside cabin, which is cabin number 3103. And if you like, the video is right here. You want to take a look at what that stateroom looks like. I shared the cabin with my big sister, who is often my traveling companion and is also a VIFP member with a similar status as mine. Now, this information will be very important later when it comes to our pricing. We booked this trip in January in 2023. Now, here's a tip. The best time to book is between January and March of any year. That is considered the lull time in cruising, and that's the time you can get some of the best cruise deals other than Black Friday. But let's move on. So we did book this in January of 2023, and here I want to make it extremely clear. None, and I mean none, of the trips that I've featured on this channel thus far have been trips that were subsidized or paid for in any way by any cruise company. There was no travel agent discounts I was receiving, none of that. My husband and I have paid for these trips as VIFP members with Carnival with our respective levels. So the tips and tricks that I provide in these videos on this channel are the ones I use for myself and for my family when booking travel for them. Also, let's handle the big old elephant in the room called prepaid gratuities. There's a lot of drama, a lot of discussion about prepaid gratuities. Let me put it to you this way. There is a reason why I always prepay my gratuities. It is a very specific reason, which I will get to in a moment. First, I want to let you know what Carnival says happens with those gratuities that you pay. 100% of your gratuities are distributed to the crew who you interact with, such as your stateroom attendants, dining and culinary services staff, as well as other members of the onboard team who work behind the scenes. Yes, behind the scenes. So some of y'all who say that's not true, it's clearly on their website to enhance your overall cruise experience. Now, the price for the gratuities changed in March of 2023. They are currently $16 per person per day for a standard stateroom, and yes, it is based on your stateroom. So if you want to pay for a suite, you're going to pay more money in gratuities. That's just how it works. It's $18. It's not a whole lot more, but it can add up. So $16 for a standard room, $18 for a suite per person per day. If you are already fully deposited, meaning that you've paid your full deposit amount prior to the change, typically you are not charged the difference in the daily gratuity amount. So let me give it to you this way. You purchase a cruise now in September of 2023. Carnival announces that next year they're going to change their gratuity amount to $20 per day. Well, because you've deposited your cruise while the gratuities were $16 per day, you're going to pay that $16 per day. But here's what you need to do. You would need to include your gratuities at the time of booking. Now, including your gratuities does not increase your deposit amount, just the total final payment amount. Let me say that again for the people in the back. Including your gratuities does not increase your deposit amount. It does increase the overall cost of your cruise, but not your deposit. Okay? So my sister-in-law, because we booked prior to that change, we did save on our prepaid gratuities. Cruise fare. Now, the total cost of this cruise was originally $1,014.90 as of the date we booked, which was January 14th of 2023. This included the taxes, fees, and port expenses, as well as the prepaid gratuities. Our taxes, fees, and port expenses was $208.40, and our prepaid gratuities for both people for the entire cruise was $87. Now, on February 12, 2023, we were offered a special rate that included the drink package for almost 2/3 off. This was only offered to those who had a VIFP level of red or more. This level is given to everyone who has sailed with Carnival at least once. Okay, so what we did is we accepted the offer, of course, and our cruise price increased to $1,193.40. This includes the port fees, taxes, expenses, prepaid gratuities, and now that all-important drink package. This means we paid $89.25 per person for the drink package, which is usually $212 for a 3-day cruise. Thus far, we have saved $68.25 alone on our drink package. Our total savings at this point is $72.75 per person. Now we're on the cruise ship, we have our drink packages in hand, and we are sailing away to Ensenada. We did not choose to participate in any excursions in Ensenada. As I stated in a previous video, I had a family member who was not comfortable with leaving the general port area, so we decided to do a little shopping in the general port area. Now, on this previous video that we have from last year, I showed where you can take the bus and it drops you off at and what type of discounts they can give you. If you're interested in that information, go ahead and take a look at that video, and I'll link it at the end of this current video as well. However, it was only $4 per person. To keep costs down, I only eat on the ship. Little known fact, you can eat breakfast, go explore, come back to the ship and eat lunch, and go explore some more. Just remember to keep track of the time so you're not left at the port. Basically, you don't have to spend any money on food in port because you can just go back to the ship and eat. And since I only eat on the ship, I can use the cash I save from purchasing food in port to buy some what? Tequila, baby. So I purchased 2 bottles of tequila at a cost of about $109. So my total for import purchases was $113. Alrighty, so back on board the ship. Now, something that can sometimes happen is that you receive a credit for your taxes, fees, and port expenses. On this cruise, that's exactly what happened. So my account, along with everyone else who sailed, received a credit of $18.58 as a refund for the taxes, fees, and port expenses. This is a usual occurrence on each ship I've sailed on. I've had the same thing happen in varying amounts. This is because these amounts are pretty much an estimate and are based on the expected number of passengers sailing. Now, while back on board, there was a sale on watches that I saw the last night on the ship. I saw these little cute watches, and since I needed a new one, I purchased a watch for $20, as well as a picture of myself and my family members in port. The total for that was about $27.67. Then one night on board the cruise, I had a pretty late night and needed to get something to eat before I went to bed, and I ordered a Philly cheesesteak through room service. So I spent $8.26 for the cheesesteak and fries, plus $2 for gratuities, for a total of $10.26. Let me tell you, that cheesesteak was awesome. Here we're going to get to what my final cost was. I know y'all been so patient. Thanks for hanging out with the girl, but here we go. So in total, my portion of our cruise for the basic fare, including the drink package, the gratuities, taxes and fees, all that nice stuff, was $569.70. We received a credit of $18.58 for the difference in port fees and expenses, so you would subtract that. Next, I purchased a watch for $20, a group photo that I purchased for $7.67, and of course that delicious cheesesteak I had delivered to my room, which totaled $10.26. So the grand total for my cruise was $589.05. So there you have it, my entire weekend for less than $600. If you think that this was an affordable option, or if you think it was too much for one person for one weekend, put it down in the comments below. Also, take a look at these videos that YouTube suggests that you watch regarding cruising. Have a great one.